Hi and welcome again everyone. I'm going to make a video tonight about how to set up your options on Funbridge. So when we play on Funbridge against robots, or with robots as our partner, we need to tell the robots what bidding system we like and also some of our card play conventions. So in a moment I'm going to go and show you how to do that. But before I do that, I'm going to go in and just play a couple of hands just to show you again how to do this. I'm going to go to exclusive tournaments. I'm going to search for a tournament. I happen to know there's one called Trump's Individual Test. It's just a test at this stage. We don't really want people playing these tournaments. There's a 3-deal tournament. And now we can have a look at that tournament and play it. So I entered the password, which I didn't want to show you, so I edited that little bit out. So let's just go and play a hand, just to show you how this works to start with. Robot's my partner and he's opened a club. Now I can look at various possible bids. So you can always do a little bit of cheat. Well, it's not cheating, it's just a way of reminding you how your robot partner and the robot opponents will interpret your bid. So if I was to bid 1 spade, it would show that I have at least 4 cards in spades and at least 5 points, and this is a natural bid. Now, these are guidelines. You can occasionally stray outside of these guidelines if you feel comfortable doing that. You can stretch a point or two, or sometimes you may be forced. Sometimes you may be forced to make a bid that doesn't quite match what's there, but the idea is that it gives you a guideline. The other thing you can do at any point is you can click on a bid. So I can not click on, but let the mouse hover over a bid, and it will show you what that robot's bid meant. So one club showed that he had at least 3 clubs and between 12 and 23 points, and it was not forcing. In other words, I was allowed to pass 1 club if I wanted to. This robot's pass just said doesn't show anything in particular. I mean, 18 points at most, that's a bit strange. You would think that with 18 points you'd do something, but it gives you an idea. So now what does 3 clubs mean? 3 clubs shows me that my robot partner now has at least 6 clubs and 15 to 17 points, and at most 3 cards in the majors. Stop is just a convention used overseas that usually that a bid has been made with a jump in some unusual bid has been made. So they use that here. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. It doesn't mean anything for our purposes here. It's called a stop bid. It's used overseas. The idea is that after a stop bid, when you are the next player, you must pause for 10 seconds. The idea is that you may well have something to think about after a stop bid, an unusual bid or a jump bid, and by forcing you to pause for 10 seconds, it doesn't give away information to the other players. So just for the purposes of Funbridge, as I say, just ignore that. And so maybe here, my spades aren't that good, I'll try 3 no trumps. So between 7 and 14 points, a hand to play the game with no hope of slam. Well, now that I think about that, it's not really right, is it? Because I do have slam hopes with this hand. I have a very nice hand. I'm not going to focus too much on the bridge here, but I've got a really great hand. So I guess at this point I just bid 3 diamonds. And notice that that's a forcing bid. So it's really important to understand when your bids are forcing. So by making a forcing bid, it's saying, partner, you cannot pass. Now, I mean, it's a bit strange in that it says between 2 and 7 cards in diamonds. Possibly if I set a very basic bidding system, that wouldn't come up. I think this is called third suit forcing. Nevertheless, that's where we are. Partner's got between 15 and 17 points. It doesn't seem that he likes spades much, so I guess at this point I'll give up in that it's a bit of a misfit and just choose to play the hand in 3 no trumps. So it doesn't too much matter what happens here. Well, we haven't missed a slam because we're missing the ace king of spades, but we're going to make a certain number of tricks in 3 no trumps. Looks like we've got 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we'll get 11 tricks. We can just cash the first 11 tricks, and then we'll get 2 in spades probably. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. So now I'm going to go back and I'll withdraw from the tournament. Well, I'll withdraw from the deal, I think, or maybe I can just claim 11. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Let me just claim 11. Here we can see we've got no. Actually, I can claim 12, can't I? Because I can make. I might make 13, but but who cares? I'll try to claim 13. Probably won't let me. Just trying to figure out whether, claim refused. So I'll try to claim just for 12 tricks, 11 more. It'll probably accept that, I think. I'd need the Jack 10 of diamonds to come down in order to make all 13 tricks. Well, that's kind of silly, but okay. Yeah, I dare say I am going to make 6 clubs, 3 hearts, that's 9, and 3 diamonds is 12. So I'm going to make 12 tricks, and maybe I'll make 13 if I'm lucky. I'll come back and worry about that later. Thanks for watching, and let's start the main part of the video. Okay, hi and welcome everyone once again. I have decided to make a video to show you how to set up your system card and your playing conventions inside Funbridge. So let's have a look. We're going to Funbridge. I'm using a Windows PC here, but it'll be similar if you're using it on a tablet, and I suppose similar, although maybe a little more tricky, on a phone, on a smartphone. So we come in here, and instead of deciding to play bridge in some way, we're going to click on this menu button when eventually it stops freezing. There we go. Menu, and in here you can come down to settings. So we go into settings, and the first thing to notice is bidding conventions. So here it gives a quick summary of what I've chosen so far. So what I'm going to go and do is change this to a bidding system that is more closely aligned to the Trump's standard bidding system that we use at Trump's Bridge Centre. So if you see I scroll down here, at the moment I've chosen something called 2/1, which is a bidding system I use. It's a little bit different from the Trump standard, but I play that with some of my regular partners. So here what I'm going to do is instead setting a bidding system that is more similar to Trump standard. Now what I recommend is you take a look and read through here. SAYC stands for Standard American Yellow Card, which is a fairly sort of standard bidding system that's used in online bridge tournaments around the world. It's basically the North American bidding system used by many players there. Yellow card just means there is a certain level of artificial bids, yellow meaning kind of warning. So standard American yellow card, if you ever see SAYC, that is fairly similar to Trump standard. However, I think closer to Trump standard is this bidding system here called 5-card major. So we're going to come back in a minute and choose one of those. Just scrolling down, ACOL, well that will appeal more to people from Britain, where ACOL is a popular system that's used over there. Used a little in Australia, but not so much. It basically revolves around opening 1 no trump when you have 12 to 14 points. Polish club is an advanced system involving opening 1 club whenever you have a strong hand of 16 and more points. And there are some other systems I'm not familiar with here. So at the moment I've chosen this one called 2/1, but I'm going to change here to 5-card majors. And I think a lot of Trump's players will be best suited by choosing the intermediate version of 5-card majors. There's a certain amount of artificial bids, but not as many as here. So you can decide whether you're happy with the additional things that are mentioned here. Otherwise, we'll just leave that like that. So that's bidding conventions. Okay, so now I've set my system to use 5-card majors. I believe this will be using 2 diamonds as a weak bid, I think. We'll see when a hand like that comes up. But let's leave that for now. So I've set my bidding convention. Now let's go to card play conventions. It says edit my bidding system, but we're inside card playing conventions, so what it means is edit my card playing conventions. That's very confusing. So you can choose these 2 options. In other words, no meaning at all. I don't like that because you should always play some sort of signalling with your partner. Leads 4th best in no trump and thirds and 5ths in a suit contract. And discards direct means high in courage. I don't particularly like that because we don't play 3rds and 5ths at trump, so I've chosen to select the free profile. And here I've said that opening leads in no trump, I'm going to lead 4th best. Opening leads in a suit contract, again 4th best if I decide to lead from some sort of suit like, King 7-5-2, I'll lead 2. Discarding in no trumps. Well, again, unfortunately here at trumps we like to use low encourage, but unfortunately there is no option here. I've actually emailed the Funbridge people to ask them if they can include a low encourage. However, let's have a look at what they do suggest. No meaning. Well, again, I do think it's a good idea to give signals in defence, otherwise you're just guessing too much. Some people like odds and evens. An odd card in a suit means you're interested in that suit. An even card means you're not interested in that suit. Thirds and fifths is another option, but I've chosen direct, which just means what we call high encourage. So it's the opposite of low encourage. I will try to play a highish card if I like the suit and a lowish card if I don't like the suit. So I would like to choose low encourage, but there's no way of doing that. Leventhal is what we call in Australia McKenny. So you discard, it's more tricky. So if you know what McKenny discards are and you want to play McKenny discards, you click Leventhal. McKenny is called Leventhal in the United States. Again, discarding in a suit, if you like odds and evens, you can go for that. You can go for this. But again, I think simplest for trumps players would just be to choose direct, meaning high encourage. Many of cards played to follow suit in defence. You will try to show if you have an even or odd number of cards in the suit. A low card with an even number and a high card in the lower number with an odd number. So this is to do with when you're playing your spot cards in defence. So declarers draw in trumps and you started with the 2 and 7 of trumps, you will first play the 2 and then you will play the 7. Whereas if you'd started with, say, the 7, the 4 and the 2, you'd play the 4 and then the 2 to tell your partner you have a third one. So low card with an even number and a high card with an odd number. But if you don't want to bother with that, you can just put no meaning. Suit preference signals. Making suit preference signals when you make your partner rough or when dummy holds a singleton. A low card asks to play the lower ranking suit and a high card asks to play the higher ranking suit. Well, again, this is similar to what we call McKenny here. So let's say my partner leads, let's say we're defending a 4-spade contract. My partner leads a card and I can clearly see that it's a singleton. Let's say it's a heart. They've led a heart and I can clearly see and figure out that that's a singleton. So I'll win my ace of hearts and I also have the ace of diamonds in my hand. So what I want to do is give my partner a ruff. So I'm going to win the ace of hearts, give my partner a ruff, and I want my partner to know that they can get back into my hand with a diamond, not a club. So I would lead a high heart back. So I might win with the ace of hearts at trick 1, and when I'm leading a card for partner to ruff, I would lead the 9 of hearts, a high card, to say to partner, return the higher of the other suits, return a diamond, not a club. Conversely, if my partner led a heart and I won the ace of hearts and I did want a club return, because let's say this time I have the ace of clubs, I'd lead a low card back. So it's getting a little bit more tricky, but it's McKenny signals when roughing. Most people will know what that is. Certainly the competition players will know. Here you can do things like set whether certain things happen. You can make your own choices. I don't think I've changed anything there from the normal settings. So that's really it. I've set my card play conventions by going to edit and then the free profile and making those choices that I showed you. And basically in the bidding convention it was very easy. It was just one click here to say that I want to play 5-card major, and I've chosen not to play too many conventions. So I think you'll need to test it out, but I think this includes 2 diamonds as a week 2 opening. So 2 clubs is your game force opening, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, 2 spades are your week openings with 6 cards in each of those suits, and 2 no trumps remains as usual, strong balanced around 21 high card points. So that's really all you need to do, and then you could come back in and start to play.